Thank you everyone for joining us for our first Meet the Author series with Nalani Butler and Leila Butler. They're joining us today. They are FCPS graduates, and I will let them now introduce themselves. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I want to start off by saying thank you so much for having us. School has been out, so we haven't been able to come in and Zoom with students. So we're really excited for tonight because we can finally be with the kids again, talk to you guys, and read to you guys. So yeah, we're really excited. We can start off by introducing ourselves. My name is Nalani Butler. I'm a third year now in college at the University of Virginia, so I am starting to feel really old now. It seems like such a long time since my sister and I wrote this book. Some things about me: I love traveling, listening to music, shopping, definitely talking. I'm a big talker, and as you can tell, I really do love writing.
My name is Leila Butler. I'm currently in my second year at Georgetown University. So like Nalani, I do feel a little old, but very excited to be here and excited for you guys to all hear about our book and actually be able to hear the book Paige Saves the Day. Nalani and I put so much effort and energy into it. And so we just always enjoy being able to share it with all the kids. And so then a little bit more about me. I also love listening to music and watching Disney movies. And then lastly, I love baking.
So we wanted to start off with some of the questions that we are frequently asked. The first question is, what gave you the idea to write a book? Our dad gave us the great idea to write a book. He always tried to encourage us academically and artistically and creatively. He especially wanted to make sure that we practiced writing. So we were often assigned different writing projects, and he asked us one summer what we wanted our writing project to be. And I don't remember exactly how it went, but we ended up deciding that we wanted to write a book. And so we wrote the book, and for a while we didn't publish it. And it wasn't until Leila and I were in high school that we decided to publish it. But we wrote the book at the end of elementary school. So I was in 6th grade and Leila was in 5th grade.
And also, we also get a lot of people asking, like, even if they're not really good at writing, is it still possible? And I just want to say, yes, you don't have to be a fantastic writer to write your first book. I usually, when I was younger, I struggled a lot with writing. And so that's one of the reasons why our dad would assign us these writing projects over the summer. And being able to write this book with my sister helped me to find a passion for writing and make writing something more that I enjoy instead of something that I dread because it's like an assignment. So I just want to give that public service announcement to everyone. Even if you struggle with writing, you can still be an author. And we recommend you at least try to write your own story. It's a fantastic process. And at the very end, you'll just feel so overwhelmed and grateful for that opportunity to write that story.
Yeah, no age limit to writing. We always have kids come up to us and they're like, I wrote my own story. I wrote my own story. And we're like, okay, you should continue with that story and, get it published one day. So yeah, we think it's amazing when you guys come to us with stories. The next question is, what were some of the key messages in your books? One of the main goals of our publishing company is to publish with purpose. And so we try to emphasize certain themes in our books. Paige Saves the Day, as you'll see when we read the book, it has themes like bullying, self-image, and self-love, belonging and identity, diversity, and that's, physically we have characters who represent the world. That's something that Leila and I struggled with when we were younger, is not seeing ourselves in the books that we were reading. And so we wanted to make sure that kids now could see themselves in the books that we write. And then teamwork.
Yes. And then in the second book, having themes like making tough choices, dealing with friendships and loyalty. A big one in the second book is honesty, and then lastly, teamwork.
Yeah, and then the third one, it's not out yet, but it should be out by the end of the year. We're really excited about it.
Yes.
It has some kind of some of the same themes. Communication is a big one in this book, especially forgiveness, friendships continued, and problem solving.
Yes. So this is the Paige series. And then we also wrote another book called Sprinkles with our younger brother, Marco. And this book is targeted more towards younger students. But the themes that Sprinkles has include dealing with change and adapting to that change and having a new home, making new friends, and being shy.
Now we're going to turn to Paige Saves the Day. The reason we're here to read our first book with you guys. I know I'm excited, so
Yes.
get started. Paige Saves the Day. Thump. Oh no, Peppermint, don't eat that. Your fur will get all sticky and I already gave you a bath last night. How am I going to clean this up and not be late for the school bus? Mom!
Dear, Paige, what happened?
I was making a Paige special and dropped the syrup, Paige replied.
A Paige special? Asked her mom.
Yes, Mother, a peanut butter banana and syrup sandwich on honey wheat toast.
No problem, dear. Let's finish making your lunch. I will clean up after we get you onto the bus.
Paige boards the school bus. She's excited to go to school, but not looking forward to seeing Brooklyn, Melina, and Darcy.
Melina, Darcy, what is Paige wearing? Joked Brooklyn. Melina began counting. 4, 5, 6? I think I've counted 7 patterns. Brooklyn shouted, Hey, Paige, pick a pattern. Some of the kids laughed and joined in.
Paige thinks to herself, I can't wait until this bus ride is over.
Paige arrives at school and hurries to her favorite class. Miss Daisy's class is the best. She always makes the lessons fun, and Paige's friends, Quentin and Autumn, sit next to her.
Good morning, Miss Daisy.
Very fancy today, Paige. I love the color selections, said Miss Daisy.
Autumn added, yes, Paige, very fancy.
Thank you, Autumn. Hello, Quentin.
As Quentin greets Paige, the teacher announces that class will begin in 10 minutes.
Quentin gets super excited. He knows that as soon as Miss Daisy gives the 10-minute warning, it's time to hear another one of Paige's out-of-this-world adventures. Paige starts.
Last night, after finishing my dessert, a double scoop of chocolate ice cream, my dog Peppermint and I were called on a secret mission to the faraway kingdom of Chocolatopia, where the world supply of chocolate is heavily guarded. It turned out evil aliens that looked a lot like tall pieces of broccoli were threatening to take all of the chocolate back to their planet. We had to act fast. We didn't want to think. I'm so sorry, I lost my smile. We had to act fast because we didn't want to think of how sad everyone would be if there were no more chocolate candies, chocolate milk, chocolate cake, or chocolate ice cream.
No more chocolate ice cream? Both Autumn and Quentin asked in horror.
Paige slowly nodded yes and continued.
When Peppermint and I flew over the east gate of Chocolatopia, we saw a spaceship shaped like an avocado, but driven by what looked like a tomato and an onion.
As I flew towards the ship, I was captured by the leader and held hostage by 2 of those broccoli alien thingamajigs. Just when it looked like all of the chocolate would be taken, Peppermint sprang into action and chewed through my ties, which were made of asparagus. I then used my bubblegum blaster, my special laser, to shoot down the avocado ship, driven by the tomato and onion. As it fell to the ground, it transformed into a clump of guacamole.
The chocolate was saved. The citizens of Chocolatopia celebrated and chanted my name. Paige,
Paige, Paige,
Paige,
Paige.
Paige. As Quentin and Autumn began chanting Paige's name, Brooklyn interrupted. That is the dumbest story I have ever heard, and so untrue. Seriously, broccoli can't talk. Tomatoes and onions can't drive. And I have seen your dog Peppermint. He is no hero.
Just then, the bell rings and Miss Daisy announces that class is starting.
Good morning, class. Yesterday, I asked that you all go home and think about leading one of the teams for our project. Do I have any volunteers?
I am definitely leading one of the teams, yelled Brooklyn.
The classroom was quiet. No one else volunteered. No one wanted to lead a team against Brooklyn.
It was now up to Miss Daisy to decide.
Please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. Please don't pick me, Paige repeated in her mind.
Paige, I think you would make a great team captain.
Paige sank in her seat as Miss Daisy continued. Now, class, let's get you into two teams so that I can give you your instructions.
Miss Daisy's instructions were interrupted as I think someone has a question about the interpretation. I want to make sure everyone can hear the story.
Mhm.
No, I think we're okay, ladies. Go ahead. You're fine.
Okay. Miss Daisy's instructions were interrupted as most of the students suddenly rushed to be near Brooklyn. Only a few students, including Quentin and Autumn, remained near Paige.
No, class. Each of you will draw a colored card from the box on my desk. Paige has the blue team, Brooklyn has the red team.
After the teams were decided, Miss Daisy continued with the instructions. Each team will work together to create a story highlighting the theme of teamwork. Your team captain will present your story, and the most creative story will be turned into a skit and performed at our school's spring fling.
Just then, the bell sounded and it was time for lunch. As the students headed to the cafeteria, Darcy approached Paige and said, "Let's get something straight, Paige. Just because I happen to pick a blue card doesn't mean I will let you tell me what to do. Your stories are wacky. You will make us lose. And for the record, I would rather clean my little brother's smelly room than be on your team."
This is my worst nightmare come true, Paige said to her friends as Darcy walked away.
Don't listen to her, Paige. Your stories are great. You'll make a great team captain and we will win, said Quentin.
What's for lunch, Quentin? Asked Autumn.
A boring turkey and cheese sandwich, an apple and a juice box, Quentin replied.
Let me guess, Paige. You're having your favorite Paige special, Autumn asked with a smile.
Brooklyn interrupts. Aw, how cute. You're trying to cheer your friend up by asking her a dumb question. Weirdo Paige is eating the same weirdo thing she eats every day of her weirdo life.
Melina adds, yeah, that peanut butter banana and syrup sandwich on honey wheat toast.
Brooklyn gives Melina a weird look. Why do you know all of the ingredients?
Melina begins to mumble.
Brooklyn interrupts again. Anyway, I didn't come over here to talk about your weird eating habits. I came to tell you to get ready to get beaten really badly in Miss Daisy's story contest. I will win.
Paige puts her head down and says, this day just keeps getting worse.
No more kisses, Peppermint. Paige hides her face in her pillow.
Paige, are you okay, dear?
Yes, I am fine, Mom. Why do you ask?
Well, let's see. You ran straight from the school bus to your room. The door is closed and you're already in bed. What's bothering you, dear?
Mom, today was the worst day ever. I know I said the day I realized I could no longer fit my favorite sweater, the one with the polka dots, checkered squares, and the zebra patterned hood was the worst day ever. But today was far worse than that day.
Paige's mom sits next to her. I'm listening, dear.
Paige began to ramble. On the school bus, Brooklyn was mean. She teased me about my outfit. So what? I like patterns and colors. She only wears pink. How boring. Then we get to Miss Daisy's class, and she assigns a new story project. Brooklyn volunteers to lead one team, and Miss Daisy volunteers me to lead the other. During lunch, Brooklyn was worse. She just kept going on and on about how her team would win and that I was weird. Weird clothes, weird stories, weird food choices, just plain old weird.
Wait, are you talking about your good friend Brooklyn from second grade?
Oh, Mom, that was a lifetime ago. I'm in the fourth grade now, and she is no longer my friend.
Well, why not? What happened?
Mom, I really am not sure why she hates me so much.
Oh, honey, I'm sure everything will work out just fine. It is okay to be different. You are creative and you will make a great leader. I love your stories. What is the one you told about you and Peppermint saving the world from being taken over by the funny little green guy?
Mom, you mean the paranoid pickle prince?
Yes, him, dear. Why don't you come downstairs and tell me that story while I finish making dinner?
The next day at school, Paige had her first meeting with her team. Hi,
Hi,
team. Well, today's the day we start our project. So does anyone have any ideas?
The group was silent.
Paige continued. Okay, Tommy, you usually have great ideas in class. What are you thinking?
Funny you should ask. I'm thinking I'd prefer to be in the other group, Tommy replied.
Fair enough. I know some of you would rather work with the other group. However, each of you picked your own card, which determined your team. We might as well make the best of it, have fun, and work together as a team.
Paige, I have an idea, said a quiet voice from the crowd. We can be at recess when suddenly the school comes under attack.
That's a great start, said Paige.
Yeah, but who or what would be attacking? Tommy interrupted.
Monsters or zombies, someone said.
Definitely monsters. Zombies are so last year, said another.
Alien monsters called resuscinators, for sure. And a hero. We must have a student who turns out to be a hero, added Quentin.
Remember, the theme is teamwork, so how about a team of heroes? Autumn offered.
All of a sudden, everyone started sharing ideas. The next 2 days of Miss Daisy's class were great. Paige's team worked hard to shape their ideas into an exciting story about student heroes who saved the school from an alien attack during recess.
Brooklyn's team struggled as she insisted on coming up with all of the ideas herself. But Brooklyn wasn't worried. She had a plan.
Paige was excited when she arrived home from school.
Mom, you were so right. Today at school, everyone in my group participated in coming up with ideas for the project, said Paige.
That's great news, honey. I'm proud of you for not giving up, said Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I'm going upstairs to practice for the big presentation tomorrow. Of course, you know I have the perfect presentation outfit in mind.
Okay, dear. I will let you know when dinner is ready.
The bell rings and it is time to start class.
Good morning, class. It is presentation day. Principal Parker will be joining us. I'm excited to see what each team has created. Brooklyn volunteered to go first, so let's get started.
Brooklyn started. It was a normal day at school when the bell rang for recess. As we ran to the playground, a spaceship landed on the blacktop. As the kids scrambled in fear, the door to the craft opened, and out marched a group of aliens known as the Resuscinators.
Paige's heart sank. Autumn, that's our story, she mouthed. Quentin leaned over to Paige. How did they? What are we gonna do?
Paige's mind raced as Brooklyn finished, and that's how I, Brooklyn the Brave, saved the school, the students, and recess from the evil Resuscinators.
Interesting presentation, Brooklyn. Paige, are you ready to present for your team?
As Paige prepared to go to the front of the classroom, Darcy leaned forward. Paige, I'm so sorry. I didn't think Brooklyn would steal our story. She said if I gave her a copy of it, she would use it to size up the competition and make their story better.
Paige replied, Darcy, thank you for being honest. But right now, that's the least of my worries.
Paige walks slowly to the front of the room. She opens her mouth to speak and nothing comes out. She is paralyzed by Brooklyn's scheme. She is also sad because she won't be able to present the story that each of her teammates worked so hard to develop.
As Paige looked around the room, she could see the worried look on the faces of her teammates. Just then, she noticed Brooklyn and Melina whispering in celebration.
Get it together. You can do this, Paige said to herself as she took a deep breath and began. The kids were excited. It was finally here, the school carnival. There was a Ferris wheel, the teacup ride, and the jumpin', twistin', and rollin' coaster. There was cotton candy, loud music, colorful lights, and games with cool prizes. There was even a game where when you hit the target, Principal Parker would fall into a pool of pineapple coconut milkshake.
Tommy rode the coaster with his hands up. Autumn ate cotton candy and danced to the music, while Quentin played the games. I was so happy when I finally got to the front of the line to ride the Ferris wheel. I begged Autumn to ride with me. As I looked around, I could see everyone was having an amaze-tastic time.
Just as we reached the top of the Ferris wheel, I noticed a bright pink light heading towards us. At first, I thought it was some new carnival surprise. But as the pink light got closer, I realized it was a spaceship, and it hovered right next to the Ferris wheel. With a bang, the ship shot bright laser beams. The first beam made a loud boom when it hit the ground. All of a sudden, all of the rides stopped. The second beam hit Autumn's cotton candy with a poof, and it grew into a purple fuzzy-looking creature. The third beam hit the gaming table with a smack and brought the chocolate bunny prize to life. The last beam hit the milkshake pool with a splash, which caused the principal to fly up in the air and turn the milkshake into a big, angry blob.
Autumn, Quentin, Tommy, and I had no choice but to quickly change into our supersuits, activate our superpowers, and spring into action. I swooped down to catch Principal Parker. As the milkshake blob moved towards the coaster, Tommy used his frost vision glasses to freeze the blob into a mound of ice cream. Just then, Quentin aimed his heat zapping watch in the direction of the now oversized chocolate bunny. As the bunny hopped over the mound of ice cream, the heat waves melted it into a chocolatey, syrupy mess. Autumn then aimed her rainbow ring ray at the cotton candy creature, exploding it into rainbow sprinkles, which rained down onto the mound.
Together, we focused our superpowers on the spaceship, causing it to spin out of control. All of a sudden, two cherry-shaped headlights fell from the ship to the ground. As the ship flew away, a loud voice came from it saying, "I will be back."
In a blink of an eye, the ship was gone and everyone cheered. We were a team of heroes. Not only had we saved our school, but we broke the record for creating the world's largest ice cream sundae.
Miss Daisy walked to the front of the class to announce her decision. "Class, I am so proud of your hard work. Unfortunately, only one team can win. Although both stories were very creative, the red team's story did not use the teamwork theme. Brooklyn, you likely wouldn't have missed the theme if you included other members of your team in the story. Congratulations to the blue team."
Brooklyn was not happy. She exclaimed, "Well, technically, I saved a team of students."
Principal Parker added, "Yes, congratulations, blue team. We will be honored to see your story come to life during our annual spring fling."
Brooklyn's teammates began to blame her aloud for the loss.
Miss Daisy instructed the class to settle down. As the class got quiet, Quentin stood up. "Miss Daisy, I have something to say about Brooklyn and her team." Brooklyn immediately began to worry that Miss Daisy, Principal Parker, and her team would learn that she stole the story.
Paige interrupted. "Thanks, Quentin, for reminding me. Miss Daisy, the blue team is excited about winning. We would be honored if the members of the red team would join us when we present the skit to the school at the spring fling. I'm sure we can rewrite the story to include extra characters."
Paige's team agreed. "That's a great idea," replied Miss Daisy.
At lunch the next day, the cafeteria was filled with laughter as the students enjoyed lunch. Brooklyn and Melina approached Paige's table.
Brooklyn says, "Thanks for the invite to be a part of your skit, but I know I am speaking for my group when I say that none of us want to be a part of your lame skit."
Darcy, who is sitting next to Paige, looks up at Brooklyn and replies, "Actually, I think you're speaking for yourself. Have you looked around to see what everyone is having for lunch today?"
Brooklyn looks around and screams, "Paige specials?"
Darcy replies, "Yes, and they're quite delicious. Would you like a bite of mine?"
As Melina reaches for the sandwich, Brooklyn sighs and walks away. Melina sneaks a quick bite, whispers, "Yummy," and then follows Brooklyn.
For now, all of the students were happy as they enjoyed their peanut butter, banana, and syrup sandwich on honey wheat toast and talked about the upcoming skit for the spring fling.
However, Brooklyn was already plotting her next move.
To be continued.
So that is the end of the first book. We hope you guys enjoyed it. There is a second book that we released. It's called Paige's Super Friends. And then a third book, which Leila and I just wrote over the summer, that should be coming out soon by the end of the year. So that's
Yes.
exciting.
And the second book, Paige's Super Friends, picks up right where Paige Saves the Day left off. So you will be finding out what Brooklyn's revenge is.
Then, of course, you can, if you're interested in Paige Saves the Day or any of the other books that we've mentioned today, you can purchase them on our website, thebookbutler.com.
Yes. So we have, as we said, Paige Saves the Day, Paige's Super Friends, Paige's Big Surprise will be up by the end of the year. And then we also have Sprinkles, the book that we wrote with our younger brother, and then 2 journals. The first is called Our New Home, which is a coloring activity and storybook targeted towards kids who've moved into a new home and helping them to feel more comfortable with that. And as we've said, Nalani and I love encouraging younger students to also become an author like we were able to do. And so we decided to create a story journal for kids that kind of walks them through that process to become an author. And so that is also available on our website.
Yes, and then Book Butler Publishing Company also just reminded us in the chat that you get 10% off discount. There's a 10% off discount code for book purchases if you use FCPS Fall 22.
So now it's time for some questions. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat and we will start reading them.
Yeah, we already got a first question. It says, is the Paige special your favorite sandwich? How did you get the idea to write this story?
Okay.
The Paige special, I think we knew that Paige was very unique from her outfit choices. We wanted her to be very creative all around. And so we thought it made sense for her to have her own sandwich instead of eating a turkey and cheese sandwich or something like that. I don't remember how we came up with the specific ingredients, but I think we were kind of just putting random things together that might taste good.
Yeah.
And we actually did a tasting. We hadn't tried the Paige special for a while after we wrote the book. But on our YouTube channel, if you go there, we did try the Paige special and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. I
It was
will
better
say
than I anticipated. Yeah, it was pretty good.
every time we would speak to the children and like present our stories, they would always ask us if we've tried the Paige special. And so we decided to make a YouTube video out of it. And I will say, I agree with Nalani, the Paige special is really good. Now, obviously, I don't pack it for lunch every day. However, I can understand why Paige would, because it was really tasty. It was also really shocking.
Yeah, I think we weren't sure whether we were gonna like it because it was a sweet sandwich and we weren't sure about that, but it was good.
Yes.
Nina also asked, did you guys get the idea of a Paige special from a sandwich you ate when you were younger? But again, no, it was something that we created. When we created the first book, especially, we sat down for a while just brainstorming everything. We did a lot of character development. So we were really precise and thorough with creating Paige's character.
Yeah. I will say also, I feel like Nalani and I, we based Paige kind of based off like both of us. And I will admit to this day, if I'm having breakfast, I will put syrup on everything. So that I think is possibly where like the syrup part of the sandwich originated from. But yes.
Okay, we have another question. How did Paige come up with such a crazy story about aliens and avocados?
So this is another question we get asked a lot because a lot of the students will realize how a couple of the stories, I think actually all of the stories that we have Paige tell, all center around food. And this is because Nalani and I, we enjoy cooking so much. And then I think also maybe when we were writing the stories, we were just really hungry. But we just kept centering them around food. And I thought it was really interesting because the first one starts off about like Chocolatopia and like guarding chocolate supply. And then we thought like, okay, like chocolate is something like we as kids love. What's something that we as kids don't really like as much? And so our thought was vegetables. And so then, yeah, the vegetables being the villains. And so that's how like we came up with that idea of having like the chocolate as like the people that need to be saved and the vegetables as villains.
Mm-hmm. Also, I would like to correct Leila. I do not enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating though.
I enjoy cooking.
We have another question. From one of the kids. Do you like reading too? I have to say I do not read as much as I should. Every time I start reading and I enjoy a book, I get lost in the book. I'm always like wanting to read it, keep wanting to come back. And it's like when you watch a show and you really enjoy it, you keep wanting to come back. But I think I have trouble finding a good book. And so I think that's why I don't read as much as I probably should, but reading is fun too. Yes, I do enjoy
Yes,
reading.
I agree. I also enjoy reading. I struggle with finding really good books, but I will go back and reread some of my favorite books. I think my favorite since elementary school has been Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. I don't think I've read like another book that I've just been so like captivated by as that book. But like Nalani, being in college now, it's hard to find a lot of free time to read books that aren't like assigned for like school readings, but I am trying to get back into reading.
That's true. In college, there's a lot of reading. So we do textbook reading.
Yes.
Another question, what are you studying in college?
This is a good question. So I currently go to Georgetown University. It's in Washington, D.C., and I'm a part of the business school. So I'm double majoring in finance, like dealing with money, and then management, and a minor in entrepreneurship, so I can learn how to start my own business.
Yes, and I am on the opposite side of things. I'm studying double majoring in media studies and psychology. Another question from another kid. Her name is Cheyenne. Do you
Love that
like
name.
writing books more than reading books? I definitely enjoy writing books more than reading books. I've always liked writing the most out of every subject in class. So yes, I do like writing more than reading.
I agree. I love writing books more than reading books, just because it's always so nice to hear like people's feedback or everybody's thoughts on the books has been really nice. So I think I'd have to agree writing books is more fun than reading for me.
I think it's also fun because Leila and I get to write together.
Mhm.
So I think like being able to share our ideas with each other to create something better than maybe we would have created by ourselves, or just it's also a bonding experience for my sister and I. Sometimes
Yeah.
we might knock heads on some things, but for the most part, it's just something fun that we enjoy doing.
Yes, especially when we got to write Sprinkles with our younger brother, and including him in that writing process was really fun.
Yes. Another question, what grades are you guys in? I'm a third year in college, so junior.
Yes. And I am a sophomore, so I'm in my second year of college.
Another question from one of the kids. Did you have any similar experiences in school with people being mean to you? I'm gonna let Leila take this one.
Yes. So in elementary school, I did have a similar experience with Paige, in which another student was being mean to me. And honestly, I felt like the best way that I dealt with it was communication, talking to them to see why they were upset and being mean to me. I think also really talking to my family about it helped a lot, in especially in how supportive they were on making sure I was doing okay. And also, like if communicating with the person who's being mean or with the person who's bullying with you, if that doesn't work, like tell a trusted adult, what if it's your family member, if it's your teacher, make sure you tell someone so that people know what's going on and like the problem can be fixed. Because if you just let it like stay in that situation where someone's being mean to you, there could be like bigger problems that come from that, and that's not something you want. So I would say communication is key in situations like this. Make sure you talk to someone, and if they don't listen to you or if they don't take it seriously, then go to someone else and talk to them and tell them like, this is a serious problem. This person is being mean to me and I've tried to tell them to stop, but they're not listening. Can you help me? And I think that should help a lot.
Very well put, Leila.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, like Leila touched on earlier, when we were writing this book, a lot of it comes from our own experiences and wanting to see ourselves in a book. And so Paige is very much based off of us too and our experiences. Yeah.
Mhm.
Someone asked, what is your favorite season?
Ooh, so I've always had a hard time answering this question because I love two seasons so much that it's so hard to pick a top one. So for me, it's between summer and winter. Summer, of course, it's fantastic to be home. Going to the pool and going to the beach and being able to travel is amazing. And the fantastic weather, love summer so much. However, I also love winter because that's like the time where my family will celebrate Christmas and do things like drinking a hot cocoa, going to see all like Christmas lights, going ice skating, all of those fun winter activities. So I have a hard time picking, but my top two are winter and summer.
Leila is very excited about Christmas. She listens to Christmas music in July.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm not surprised by that answer at all. I'm the opposite. I like spring and fall. I'm happy that we're in autumn right now, although it's getting too cold. I don't like the winter. So yeah. Although the allergies in spring though, I don't like that.
Yes.
And also summer, the vacation, being home. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there are any more questions right now. But we still have time, so we can. Oh, actually, we just got one. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Okay. Now, as an avid Christmas song listener, it's again hard to have one favorite. So I guess one I have to start off, obviously a classic, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. You can't go wrong with the song. It's fantastic. Second one, going back to when I was younger, this song brought me so much joy. When Justin Bieber's Mistletoe came on the radio, I would go crazy. Fantastic song. Every single year, turning on Justin Bieber's Mistletoe album, highlight of the year. Those are my top two.
Yeah, our dad has the best Christmas playlist.
Yes.
I don't even know if I have a favorite Christmas song. I think I'll agree with Leila on All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yes.
I can
Great
hit
choice.
the notes too. You can hit the notes.
Do we have any
agreed.
other questions?
She agreed. She said she liked both of those songs too.
See, fantastic. Christmas music is amazing.
Yeah, no. Oh, what are some of your hobbies?
This is a good one. So like I said, I love cooking. I love baking. Just being in the kitchen in general is fantastic. So I love doing things like that. And then also another really big hobby of mine is puzzles, like doing jigsaw puzzles. I have so many puzzles, either in my closet or like puzzles that I've put together that are just stored under my bed. Being at college is a little hard because I don't have as much space to do puzzles, but puzzles like were my life, especially during quarantine and COVID. I was doing puzzles every week. So much so to the point where my college essay was actually written about puzzles.
Yeah, she actually just got a new puzzle last week. Last weekend.
I did. Very excited for it.
My favorite hobbies, I love shopping. Actually, Leila, you love shopping more than me. I'm surprised you did not say shopping.
I do love shopping. However, I love cooking and puzzles just a little bit more.
Yes. Okay. I also like craft things, making things like knitting. I haven't done it in a while, but every once in a while when I get a whole bunch of free time, I'll start knitting again. I like talking a lot too, like hanging out with my friends and family, just being able to talk, even if we're not doing anything, just talking.
Ooh, and family game nights. We
Yes.
love family game nights. Monopoly is one of my favorite games to play during family game nights. It takes a long time, but it is so much fun.
Yeah, and Mexican Train was also one of our big family game night games. Yeah,
Yes.
that's one of the main things I miss while I'm at college.
Mhm.
What are your favorite colors? My answer isn't that exciting. I like neutral colors like brown and sage green and tans and things like that.
I feel like my favorite color changes all the time, but right now I'm really into, like Nalani said, sage green. I'm also into lavender or lilac, and then I feel like you can't go wrong with black. I wear black clothes all the time. Those are my favorites, though.
Someone asked, what are some strategies for starting to write a book?
Yes. I think for Nalani and I, the biggest strategy in starting to write a book was brainstorming. Um, Trying to write a book or even a story is so hard if you don't have that brainstorming process beforehand. Because in that brainstorming process, you're able to figure out what you want to do, what you want the characters to be like, the setting, the conflict, the resolution, all of that stuff comes from that brainstorming process. And so, like Nalani said, we spent a lot of time just sitting down, having meetings together, brainstorming what we wanted the book to be like and where we wanted it to go and things like that. So I think focusing a lot of time and energy on brainstorming is one of, I guess, my like most helpful tip or strategy if you're thinking of writing a book.
And brainstorming is also just so important because it helps you solidify even the small details in your story, connecting characters, what happened in the past, like in Paige Saves the Day, her mom asks, "You mean my good friend Brooklyn?" And that kind of hints that there was a friendship with Brooklyn and Paige beforehand. So kind of like setting things up, every detail about Paige, the way she dresses, her sandwich in detail. I mean, even like the character development for the other characters as well. We even chose pictures of what we wanted the characters to look like and, things like that. So brainstorming is definitely really important. And I think it was a big part of our process for sure. Just making sure we had everything that we wanted to include.
I think another strategy that we used a lot when writing the book is like just if you get stuck, keep writing. If you're stuck on like one section of the book, like just put a little like note to come back to that, but just go on to the next part because if you're stuck with like a certain section of the book, it can be hard trying to unstick yourself and to try and get back on track. If you're in that area, just focused on like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do next. So there were a lot of times where Nalani and I, we would just like make a little note, like go back to this section and try and figure out how we want it to play out. But then we just moved on to the next section or went back to look at what we had already written to see if there was anything we wanted to change, things like that. Like don't spend too much time on one section if nothing's coming to you because it'll come to you later on.
And another thing is do not be scared to revise because Leila and I writing the third book, we started writing the third book a completely different way than we ended up writing the third book. I mean, we completely, scratched the idea and came back to it. So yeah, I think it's not always a linear process. Someone said, "What is your favorite movie?" That's very hard, but a movie that I am always down to watch for sure is The Lion King. I love The Lion King. I can recite The Lion King.
He can. If you ever watch The Lion King with her, all you can hear from like the side is Nalani saying every word line for line. It's crazy. I think also one of my favorite movies is The Lion King. But going along, I think Disney movies in general are always my favorite because they have like great songs, great messages, and they remind me of my childhood. So any Disney movie really. I think one of my favorites though is Princess and the Frog because I feel like Tiana is such a big inspiration and like how hardworking she is and her dedication. And I also wrote about Tiana in one of my college essays.
What is the best thing about being in college?
Ooh, there are a lot of fantastic things about being in college. I think for me right now, at Georgetown University, we have a really big population of students who are either from different countries or from just like different parts of the US. And so it's so like interesting being able to talk to all of these different people who come from different like backgrounds, and just hearing everybody's story and kind of how we all ended up at the same college. It's always really interesting to be able to speak from someone. Like, for example, the other day I met someone who's from Taiwan, and it was just so interesting hearing about how she grew up in Taiwan. And all of that, I think, has been one of my favorite things about college, meeting all the great people, joining all the great clubs. It's just, there are so many great things about college.
I agree. I definitely enjoy the social aspect of college, meeting new friends, again, from different places. I also like, in terms of classes, I like that you can take different classes. You're not limited to math, science, history, and what is the other? Writing, English. That's my favorite subject. But yeah, you're not limited. You can learn. I could take an ASL class if I wanted to, or something very niche in like women studies, gender studies.
Yeah.
So
my friend is taking an improv class right now, even though she's majoring in finance. Like, there's so many different things you can just try as a class, which is so interesting and so fun.
Yeah. When you were little, did you sit down often to write Paige Saves the Day? We wrote the book over one summer. And yeah, we did. I mean, for a couple to a few hours a day, we would sit down, brainstorming and writing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And writing Paige Saves the Day did take us a little longer because it was our first time writing the story. But then I feel like when we got back together to write Paige's Super Friends and also to write Paige's Big Surprise, I feel like the writing process, since we like got used to it in a sense, was a little bit easier, and something we felt more comfortable doing.
Someone said, what is your favorite candy?
Ooh, good question, especially with Halloween around the corner. I think my personal favorite candy is, now this is going to sound weird, Dove dark chocolate with almond. So great, so fantastic. I have like a little jug of just those Dove candies on my desk, and so every single day when I come back from school after eating dinner, I'll just have one of the chocolates. I even carry some around with me if I'm not in my room afterwards, after dinner. It's fantastic. I love Dove dark chocolate with almonds. It has to have almonds.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a sweet tooth, but I just actually this past weekend got an addiction to Reese's candies. I've been eating them a lot more than I should right now. Yeah. Another question, who is your favorite princess?
Ooh, I think again, top two favorites, so many great princesses. Tiana, just because I look up to her as a entrepreneur, businesswoman. Her dedication is fantastic and love that. And then also I really like Moana, and how determined she was to explore her interest in sailing the sea and just how brave she was. I think those are my top two.
My favorite is also Tiana. I love Princess Tiana. I also love like all of the characters in that movie.
Ray.
Yeah. But yeah, Princess Tiana is my favorite. I think for the same reasons, and then also because she gives us that representation that we need. Someone asked, who Who is your favorite sibling?
Uh,
And do you have any other siblings? So it's Leila, me, and then our younger brother who's 10. His name is Marco.
yes.
I don't
My
have a
favorite siblings are the dogs. They're my favorite. We have 3 dogs, Bentley, Bruno, and Lola. Those are my favorite. Nalani?
I don't have a favorite.
I think she meant to say me, but we'll continue.
Oh, someone asked what was your favorite subject? I'm guessing
My favorite subject to this day is math, hence why I'm majoring in finance, because it's one of the business things that I can do that has math.
I, on the other hand, do not like math at all. I always struggled with math. Math was never my thing, but writing was. I love writing, yeah. I think those are all the questions. Oh, and the book Butler Publishing Company put in the chat our trailer for the Paige Saves the Day book. So check
Yes.
that out. That's also on our YouTube channel. I think it is time. We can continue. Someone asked, what's your advice to?
Oh, there's also another question that says, do you have any other pets? We have our 3 dogs. That's it. Been trying to convince my dad to let me get a bunny rabbit though.
No. I think 3 dogs is enough. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have 3 dogs. We used to have birds, parakeets.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. What is your YouTube channel? Can Book Butler comment our YouTube channel in the chat?
Yes, please send the link.
Someone's asked how tall we are. I'm actually very short. I'm not even 4'11". I'm 4'10 3/4, but I count the 3/4.
I'm 5 feet and then half an inch, but I rounded up because to 5'1". So yeah, I am tall. I like to think I'm tall. I'm actually really short also. Someone said, what's your advice for 8-year-olds who love to write? Definitely keep writing, write as many stories as you possibly can. And if you feel comfortable, try sharing your story with someone you feel comfortable with that you know they'll like help you out with, and see what their thoughts on your story are. Definitely outside like feedback is really good and really important in writing. So definitely keep writing. Become an author, write your own story. We would love that.
Yeah, also, when you write your stories, if there's one that you want to publish, definitely do that. I mean, there's really no age limit to being a published author and being an author.
Mhm.
So yeah, and if you need help getting started, we do have, again, the Be an Author writing journal that'll help you get started. It has the planning, which will help you brainstorm your characters, the plot you want. You can list all the details you want to include, and then you can start writing. And then at the end, there's even a section where you can give your story to some people, maybe in your family, your friends, to review your story, and they can write a little review and give you feedback.
Mhm.
So that's a good option too. Someone said, how old are you? I am 20 years old.
And I'm 19.
Yes, we're starting to get old. Hips are popping, knees are popping. Do you have any advice for people with declined stories? I don't know. I don't think I know what can you elaborate?
Yes. What do you mean by declined stories?
I'm thinking maybe perhaps if they've written a story and submitted it, but then it gets rejected or declined. Yeah.
Okay. I say keep writing. Don't let any sort of rejection prevent you from doing what you love or doing what you're passionate about. Keep writing, keep submitting to other places to see if someone will accept you, because there will be someone who's always accepting other stories or other books. And there's always someone out there looking to publish things. So just keep looking. And also, if you want, you can reach out to Butler Publishing. I know we do some publishing of other stories, but I would just say keep trying, don't give up. You might be met with some no's, but there will be a yes in the future.
Mm-hmm. And you can also create that yes for yourself. I mean, we purposely made our own publishing company because we knew we wanted to continue creating books. And so you can make your own publishing company, and your story, you can make your story successful yourself too. So
Yeah.
Someone said, no, you guys are still young.
Thank you. Stop.
Someone said they're 11 and also 4'11".
Wow. So they're taller than you, Nalani.
Taller than me, taller than a 20-year-old. Do you guys have Facebook or Instagram?
Yes.
We have the Book Butler Publishing Company has an Instagram. It's at the BBPC. I can type it in the chat.
Yes, and that will also be sent in the follow-up email.
Oh, I think I sent it directly.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're gonna wrap up now. Thank you for all of the questions. Thank you, Leila and Nalani, for presenting today. This was amazing. It was so good to hear you guys' story about this book and to learn what's coming next. I can't wait because I'm done with Paige's Super Friends and I can't wait for the next one. So I'm on the edge of my seat. Yes, thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and please contact us at the PRC if you have any questions, and reach out to the Book Butler Publishing Company also if you have more questions for the girls. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. You taking time out of your day to listen to us share a story that we're so passionate about and that we love so much. But before everyone goes, we would like to make an announcement. Nalani?
We will be participating in the Indie Author Day, sorry, tongue twister. The Indie Author Day hosted by Fairfax County Public Libraries. It's from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on November 5th. We're really excited. You can come see us, come talk to us, get an official copy signed by us. So yeah, that's really exciting. We hope to see some of you guys there.
Yes. Okay, thank you guys all so much. We really appreciate being able to have these events where we get to talk to people and just have them hear our stories. So thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you again.